All right. Hello, welcome back to Spin the Rock. My name is Angel, and today with me are my co-hosts.
Eugene?
And Vaughn.
We're in the dog days of summer. Not much news really, but we do have two things to talk about before we get into the main topic in the hot seat. Let's start with the stuff that's still going on. Olympics. I think right now, I'm pretty sure we're still in the group stage. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I believe so. I think we have one more game and then elimination start, I think.
All right, fire. How much have you guys been watching Olympic basketball?
Unfortunately, I missed both games entirely. The first game was on like a Monday at like 8 a.m. and at least for me, and I wasn't watching that. And then the South Sudan game, I was just busy out running errands with my mom or whatever. So unfortunately, I couldn't watch, but I'm glad to see that South Sudan is not as much of a threat as everyone thought they would be.
That's crazy. That's a crazy way to look at it.
As far as Olympics gone, I think I've caught more of the women's 5v5 than I have the men's, just because of the timing of the games. So I've been reserved to highlights for the men's portion, and it looks like USA has mostly been handling business. I think if the worst to come out of it is talking about who's playing, who's not playing, then the team is probably in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the biggest controversy. Like, I'm okay with that if they're just winning games, you know. Also, in the men's 3v3, I didn't know Jimmer Fredette was on that team.
Yeah, bro.
That was a sick.
Yeah, bro.
No, that's actually I know it in the 3v3, which I kind of didn't know was a thing. I know we're doing awful in both men's and women's, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not doing great. We're not doing
And
great
then
at all.
So I'm kind of the opposite, but like the both of you guys, I've been able to watch like a lot of the men's, just not like the US. Like I've caught some of the I think I watched some of Germany, Japan. I watched Greece, Canada. And then I was able to watch South Sudan and Puerto Rico. I didn't watch any of I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched any of the women's. The women's games are all on while I'm at work constantly. They start at 3 my time.
I have a live update for you. We just beat Belgium 87-74.
Nice.
The women's team. Asia Wilson with the 20-point double, and Breonna Stewart with 30, basically.
Yeah. Crazy. So as far as the like US goes, of course we're doing really good. This is what I hate about. I was telling Vaughn this. I hate NBA basketball fans. I hate NBA fans. But I'll tell you why. Because NBA fans, they're annoying as hell and they're cringy and they pick at the littlest things, bro. The fact that Jason Tatum not playing got so much coverage and memes and just people talked about that so much. Why, bro?
Okay, but if you really think about it, no coach does that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's an underlying reason Steve Kerr did that. Did he do it on purpose? I think so. Why did he do it? I don't know. But I think Steve Kerr was trying to play it off like like it was an accident. But you don't forget to just play a player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. That's what I think on it, though.
No, don't get me wrong. Steve Kerr is an awful coach, and I get questioning Steve Kerr, but like people were like going on and on about like, oh, like Tatum is not needed on the Celtics and Team USA. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's Olympic basketball. Like some players are just not gonna play. The two best forwards in basketball right now are like starting. Like, let's be honest, bro. LeBron and KD are not gonna be on the bench.
Right.
So, like, I just it's just annoying, bro. Because Tyrese
It's like-
Halliburton also didn't play, and no one
Right.
cared. No one said anything.
Yeah. Like you got a 12-man roster. Obviously, some guys aren't going to play all the time or have limited minutes.
Olympic basketball is still going on. Like Eugene said, the last of it should pass by the time you're seeing this. Because now we film on Thursdays. Tomorrow for us, and by the time this comes out, Friday for the viewers. So obviously we're making it through. We haven't lost. I don't see yeah, and I don't see us losing to Puerto
Isn't it-
Rico.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I don't see us losing to Puerto Rico at all. But yeah, moving on. As you can tell, or as you would have been able to tell, Fawn's camera didn't keep turning off. Gordon Hayward has officially retired today. I think the news was literally announced like an hour ago.
It was as of the day we're filming.
Yeah, which is insane that this has happened. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about his career and him as a player?
He's probably going to go down as another what if story. Like, what if he didn't have that crazy ankle injury? Not just like for his career, but like for Jason Tatum's career. Like at that point, he was probably going to come off the bench in favor of Hayward starting at small forward. And then just all that time that went into recovery, he came back from injury, kind of wasn't the same. He was ramping up. And then when he left the Celtics, he was more of a role player. And he got paid that massive bag and play in Charlotte, but like no one is doing anything in Charlotte.
It was
So-
Charlotte.
Right. This kind of feels like an early retirement because he could definitely be a guy coming off the bench for a team. So it is very surprising. But you know, he's got different priorities now.
Yeah, I know I was, taken by surprise, but it kind of made sense in the grand scheme of things, how his career has shaped out to be from, as we see in Angel's background, young Gordon Hayward coming out of Butler. And then it was really, like Vaughn said, the ankle injury just kind of threw a wrench into his entire career, and it's just a big what if, I don't think it's as big as some other careers that may or may not be talked about, but it definitely is. I don't want to say unfortunate, but I feel like he could have gained a lot more accolades in his NBA career had that not happened,
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like I've known his name for so long. Like you said, Eugene, like Butler, like I known him since Butler. Like obviously that's not that long because I'm pretty sure some people knew him on whatever random high school team he was on. But like I just remember like him throughout like on the Butler team and just like almost upsetting a major team, just barely missing the game winner. And then like him on the Jazz, he was like one of those people where like if you knew ball, you knew for the longest time that Gordon Hayward was going to be good because like he just like had that sneaky athleticism, just randomly dunking on people just out of nowhere. And then like eventually, of course, he became like a solidified, like he was the guy on the Jazz for like the longest time. And like when he went to the Celtics, I remember the day he went to the Celtics, everyone was like, Celtics got it because they had Kyrie, him, like Celtics were stacked, and everyone was like, Celtics about to win a shit because he literally just came off an amazing year in Utah. I don't even remember in a fantasy draft. I don't know if I drafted him or someone else drafted him. Someone drafted Gordon Hayward, and we were like, this guy's just like got a steal of the draft. And of course, the injury happened, but like still. It was like the first game of the season too, wasn't it?
It was early.
It was like first 3 minutes into the quarter or something when it happened.
Like insane. And I remember, oh my goodness, bro, the picture that was circulating, like, oh,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
just like,
nasty.
it was just so unfortunate, like how he was on like a really good path for sure.
Mhm.
And like it makes you wonder, like, not even for him, but that entire Celtics roster, like, how would have the Celtics turned out if Gordon Hayward never got injured that game? You know,
Right.
because that was like Kyrie might have been a Celtic for a lot longer,
Mhm.
and like I don't know, like Vaughn said, Jason Tatum could have been like coming off the bench, which would have been insane. Like I don't know, it's crazy to think about how his career went down, and even on Charlotte, like yeah, it was Charlotte, but like he was still producing a pretty good amount. That's like why I'm surprised that he retired, because like in Charlotte he was like a contributor, a starter, getting like a solid 20 points a game. Goes to Thunder, doesn't play, and now he's retired.
Mhm.
So it almost feels
Right.
like he kind of lost the love of the game.
Yeah, because like even this most recent year in Charlotte before he was traded, he was scoring 15 a game. So that's like good NBA numbers, especially on good efficiency. Like a lot of teams could have used that, and the Thunder didn't really utilize him. They didn't really need him, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
just to
don't know
see him
why the
flat out
Thunder
walk
picked him
away
up.
from it all, that was yeah.
Absolutely insane. Anything else before we get into the hot seat in the main topic?
Just wish him luck on his future endeavors.
For sure, for sure. All right. This hot seat kind of ties into Gordon Hayward retiring and our actual main topic, but it is something I think could be a main topic in itself, so I'm using it here. And that is, what is the player that you never gave up on? That like everyone else was saying they were either washed or they were just constantly injured, but you still had high hopes and you just never gave up on them until it was like they were out of the league.
Bro, easiest answer, Isaiah Thomas, bro. IT, king of the fourth quarter, that MVP year after that, I'm like, okay, he's got the hip injury. He'll get surgery. He'll come back better.
Mhm.
Kind of really wasn't a favorite on the Cavs. Got traded to the Lakers, and from there was just getting bounced around across the league. It's tough when you're a under 6 foot guard, and especially one that has a reputation for not being able to play defense. So like, it didn't matter if he was or wasn't bad at defense. If he was just like decent, it didn't matter because like he already had that reputation, and from that point on, he was just destined to be a bench player. And then at that point, it was just like, why have Isaiah Thomas when we got a young guy we could develop? And it was just kind of like phased him out. It's always cool to see him come back to the NBA. It's happened a few times now, it feels like, but it's never gonna reach those glory days, you know. So I will always root for that guy who was picked 60th, dead last in the draft. So you know, there's gonna be like a crazy documentary for him one day. I guarantee you.
Bro, it kind of, yeah, that's a really good pick. It's like one of the things that's even more said about him is that he keeps getting like amazing opportunities, but like teams keep doing him dirty.
Yeah.
Like he was a solid player on the Nuggets, and then like the Nuggets was like, all right, get out of here. Like, and then like even like he went off that one summer in the rec league, and
Mhm.
everyone was like, someone pick him up, and like I don't know if anyone did, but like after that, like you didn't hear from him like for a long time again.
Right. Yeah, IT was definitely a dog in his Celtics days. And
Yeah,
even Kings days, low key, with Boogie.
yeah.
I actually have two players in mind. One player being drafted in the same class as Gordon Hayward. John Wall. I've always been a fan of John Wall since I, was living in Virginia. And, I saw him come out of Kentucky bro was hooping on the Wizards, even though the Wizards were, terrible. This was the ending of Gilbert Arenas, that whole thing. So he was starting to come up on the scene. He getting better and better. Get the addition of Bradley Beal. And then all of a sudden, bro falls down the stairs, tears his ACL, takes 2 years to recover, gets traded to the Rockets, doesn't play like a week's worth of games for the Rockets, and just eventually phases out of the league. But it's like I always held out hope for him, because you want to see your favorite players win, but it just kind of didn't work out for John like I thought it would, or like I hoped it would. And the other player along the same lines, I gotta say Lonzo too, bro.
That's another. Both of those are very solid.
Coming up out of Chino Hills, bro's a hooper in college, at UCLA. Started hooping with the Lakers. Had a dream summer league run. Then gets traded by the GM. And then goes to the Bulls.
The Hooper again.
Yeah, and then blows his entire leg out. So
insane.
It's all kind of unfortunate for these, not necessarily what if stories, but injury prone players. And it's just like, I want to see you play, but your body doesn't want to see you win. So, but those are probably two of the players that I would say.
Yeah, I have two questions for you, Eugene. One for Lonzo Ball, because I knew you were probably getting hate when you were, because you probably had belief in Lonzo Ball when he was on the Lakers and everyone else was hating on him. How good did it feel when he went to the Bulls and started performing? Being like, I know you started being like, I knew it.
Right. It's because that whole transition, obviously when you're playing with the best in the world, it even happened with Kobe.
Yeah.
In his later years, you started to see although Kobe and LeBron are two very different players and had, two very different influences on the team. But I feel like, LeBron has the nickname Le GM for a reason. So it was you could kind of see the shift and the nature of the team kind of go away from BI and Lonzo and Kyle. And it really pissed me off, bro, that we didn't use Kyle Kuzma as much as we could have that first season LeBron was on the team, and he ended up getting traded to the Wizards. And he started to hoop on the Wizards, and now we know how that's ended up. But yeah, I was happy for Lonzo, and I was happy for BI as well, because BI, is the hooper that we know. Lonzo was getting, triple doubles at one point. So it was they can hoop, but I don't know if it was the coaching. I don't know if it was, LeBron being LeBron and being young, because they're our age, a little bit older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot to take in or whatever. But I was happy to see Lonzo actually hooping on the Bulls when he got there, though, and it seemed like a better system as well.
Yeah. It's crazy though when you look back on that. Out of all three of those guys, Lonzo was getting the most hate because everyone, for some reason, people believed in Kyle Kuzma more than they believed in Lonzo.
Well, Kyle got Summer League MVP, which kind of it made sense, but at the same time, you also got to think at that moment in time, LeVar Ball was, the whole the whole thing as well. So I think that's why most people were hating on not only Lonzo, all of his brothers. But I feel like that played a significant role in all the hate.
And my second question was, how do you feel about John Wall joining the Clippers? Were you excited or were you kind of worried?
Bro, I really thought that was a revival for his career, and then it didn't work.
Yeah.
I forgot who they ended up like who they still had on that team. I think didn't they have they had Montrez, right, on that team? Was Beverly on that team or not?
No, that was.
I don't
think that
remember
was
what time period
that was like 2 years ago. So it was still Kawhi, Paul George.
Oh, okay, so it was after.
Right, because they needed a point guard at that point. Because
Yeah,
there was
Right.
just no playmaking going on. So like
Right.
John Wall looked like the perfect fit, and they just
And
never picked up.
right.
literally,
And
that's the
he
reason why
was.
Vaughn thought they were gonna go to the finals
Yeah,
because he was hooping. The summer highlights started coming out, and everyone was like, "Oh, Clippers are scary! Clippers are scary!"
And it just didn't work out, which I kind of wonder why, other than injuries. But I don't, because again, on paper, it looked amazing, it looked great, but
Mhm.
it just didn't end up working out.
Yeah,
So it is
but
what
it's
it is.
crazy he went from Clippers to basically out of the league because he got traded back to the Rockets again, and Rockets didn't
Right.
want him, so he was just sitting down for a whole nother year again. That's such a sad way to go out. Like besides the injuries, a team just doesn't want to play you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, you're getting paid, but you're just doing nothing. That must be so frustrating.
yeah, rough. I feel, yeah. My guy is Markel Fultz. Bro, this man, I was like, watch, like he's gonna be like, because this is when Ben Simmons hype was still real,
Mhm.
and people thought Markel Fultz was like not gonna be. I was like, he's gonna be the main guy, like he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. I was like, just you watch, and then like that weird. I mean, we all know the story. All of a sudden, his shoulders like acting like we still to this day don't know what happened. Like it just started acting up. He tried to fix his form instead of actually getting medical help, and it just screwed him over. And like even to this day, he's still struggling with like injuries. And like I was rooting for him. I still am because I know he's still in the league, but I don't know what's gonna happen. He had that 1 year on the Magic where people were like, he's back, and then like he got injured again. So I'm rooting for him for sure. But yeah, Markel Fultz is mine for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to hate him, bro. I used to hate him. So
All right. And now the main topic. Let me just list off some players for you guys. Odell Beckham Jr. on the Giants. Dimitri Payet on West Ham. Christian Yelich on the Milwaukee Brewers fighting for MVP. Those three players, what do they have in common? They were phenomenal during that single span of their time. Odell Beckham Jr., after he left the Giants, never the same. Christian
not
Yelich,
his fault though. Not his fault though. That's
I don't
for
know
another
football.
podcast.
I don't know football, so I'm not going to comment on that. Christian Yelich hasn't been the same. Dimitri Payet, kind of different. He's still doing good in soccer. But that is the main topic of our episode. Streets will never forget / one season wonders. And I do have to clarify this because I didn't know. So we brought this up last week, and Eugene didn't know what that meant. I didn't know this was like a soccer term. Like, because even when I looked it up, for like just to find out other ones like Streets will never forget in other sports for that segment alone, people didn't know like what that term meant, and like I didn't know it was a soccer term. And basically what it means is just like players who were elite or looked elite for like a single period of time, whether it was like I said a one season wonder or like just one team for some reason. So we have a few. I don't know who wants to go first. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll go first because he was already mentioned. So my first forgotten star, BYU legend, all-time leading scorer for BYU, most 3-point field goals for BYU, most consecutive games with a 3-point field goal, with 29 for BYU. out there playing in Paris with the 3x3 basketball team. I got Jimmer for that, bro.
That's honestly so fire. I get that. What a coincidence that he was brought up already, and he was your nomination.
I got Jimmer, bro. It's just, you know, he got drafted by the Kings. I think he was drafted. And he never, for whatever reason, I think he was a little bit ahead of his time. I like to call him Steph Curry before Steph Curry because that's truly what he was.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he never translated in the NBA. I don't know if teams just kind of saw him as only a shooter and couldn't do anything else or what. But now he is literally a legend in the CBL on the Shanghai Sharks. So, but I got Jimmer for that. He's a GOAT. Always will be.
True. Like, if we go to like an NBA comparison, what does Kyle Korver do that Jimmer Fredette necessarily couldn't have developed? Right? They gave up on him so quickly. It felt like.
Right.
But there's
if
reason
anything,
he's playing today.
If anything, because Kyle Korver was like fucking 6'7". So if anything, it was probably his height that kind of killed it. But Jimmer's 6'2". So he's NBA height, but he's a point guard. So I think teams probably saw it as like, you know, if you can't run an offense, what else can you do for me other than shoot?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not an NBA executive, so I don't know. But I feel like he could have been Steph Curry, bro.
I mean, he kind of is overseas when he.
Right.
I don't know where he plays at overseas, but I know he's a pretty big fan favorite over there.
I mean, I also think he's just like, it was like the product, like a little too early, bro. Like, even though it was like 11-12, we're still in that era where like 3-point shooting, like, was like you stand in the corner with your hands up, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what Kyle Korver did so well, is that he would just like catch and shoot all the time.
Right.
So, like, I also think when you're like a point guard, you're not really gonna be able to just like stand there in the corner with your hands up. They want, like Eugene said, they want you to run the offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably like why they didn't give him a chance. Because even JJ Redick for the longest time, like he would just stand there in the corner with his hands up, like ready for that catch and shoot. So I think he was just like, he was too early. The league wasn't ready for a guy like for that yet.
Right.
True. He didn't have that coach like Steph Curry that like believed in him and was willing to tweak an offense around that skill set. So,
which is wild too, though, because like we're in the time period where, like, when he got drafted, I think it was after like 2010. So this was like after John Wall and stuff, PG and, you know, players like that. So I don't know. It's always just been interesting to me that, you know, teams didn't, or not a single team didn't even like see him as a part of their team or whatever, or even like he didn't even find his way into the G League, you know?
Yeah. Well, what sucks even more is that like he bounced around for a long time too.
Right.
Yeah, he was drafted 10th overall in 2011, right behind Kemba.
Yeah, he was a lottery pick, bro.
Kyrie Irving year. Yeah, it's just too early. Because like if you think about it, he was also on the Kings, poverty franchise for the longest time, bro. That's another thing. I just feel like if he was drafted like maybe just 3 years later, he definitely would have been in the league a lot longer.
I do think he left early. I think he only played like 2 years in college. So,
yeah, that's a good one though. Now, also kind of, how hard was it when Vaughn brought up him earlier?
I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. I was like, fuck, but I was like, I'll just go first and get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really very solid start. You want to go next one or?
Okay. I went back in the vault for some of these 1-year wonders. Okay. 90-91 Nuggets had Michael Adams. Played 66 games, 26.5 points per game with 10.5 assists to go with it.
That's wild.
That's all-star, if not all NBA numbers right there. And after that point, he never scored 20 points again. He never got his assist near that number. So I can see, like, after that year, he got traded or signed elsewhere. But I don't know how it comes with such a steep drop off like that. Like, that's a guy to build around your franchise for. And then just for it to disappear like that, like, he was basically a role player after that point. It's just wild that something that happened. But the 90s is just full of just weird, like, great players for like a short amount of time, and then after that they're just gone.
Mhm.
Wow, I've never seen this man in my life. I'm looking I'm looking at him right now. You know what's even crazier? I'm looking at his like career stats, and then like if you don't scroll past like 91, it's like it's almost exponential growth. It's like 2 points per game, 7, 13, 18, 15, 26.
No.
And then you go like, then you scroll like 2 inches down, it's like 18, 14, 12. He literally had like that curve. Like this is like he
That
hit
downward
his peak.
curve.
Yeah. He hit his peak and then it was all downhill from there. That's crazy. Man's put out a crazy vault.
Yeah, no, that's wild though. 26-10, and then just never the same. What team did you say he was on?
The Nuggets.
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, I have nothing to add. I didn't know he existed. To be honest, that's insane. What an insane pull from Vaughn. I love that. All right, I have a few, and everyone's been doing players, so I'm gonna do like a team. I'm gonna say the 2017 to 19 Nets. I feel like will go down in NBA history. Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Lo, young Jared Allen. I mean, like,
okay.
this,
I was like, I don't remember that team, but you said Jared Allen. I was like, okay.
You can't leave out the GOAT, Jared Dudley.
I was gonna say
big
him
part
next.
of that team.
That team was just so fun to watch. I mean, this was when like D'Lo was like playing pickup basketball.
I was about to say that was ice in my veins, D'Lo, right?
Yeah, that was when everyone was like, he's back. Like LA fumbled the bag. Like people were like hyped. And that was also, they made it to the playoffs for the first time in a long time too. They got destroyed in the first round. But that doesn't matter. We don't talk about that.
Wasn't that the first time they made it since like that whole KG Paul Pierce era?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time.
Bro,
Yeah,
they were
and then-
42-40. They were a 6 seed.
Holy shit.
That's terrible. That's 500. Like they're sitting at 550. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. That you made the playoffs back then with that record. That's actually insane.
As a
Philadelphia destroyed them. I think it was either a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. I don't remember.
I think they got one game on them. Because I remember Jared Dudley was really feeling himself, especially against Ben Simmons. He was making sure every time he made a three, he made Ben Simmons no.
I remember that.
Is that when Jared Dudley smacked the floor?
Yes, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
When he was guarding someone and he smacked the floor and immediately got scored on. Bro, that team was so fun to watch. The offense, the players on the bench would also always just lose their minds. Just if you look up 2018, 2019 Brooklyn Nets edit, you'll hear the Playboy Cardi snippet that everyone was playing, the trying to be crazy. It's that, and it's just highlights of D'Lo just unloading from afar. Jared Dudley played mediocre defense, and like the bench just losing their minds. There's also like the city jerseys, the what do you call it? The one with like the stripes on the side. What is that called, bro? I'm forgetting what that's called. Oh, Coogee. That's it. Where they had the Coogee pattern on the side. That's probably like one of the coldest. And then D'Lo had the arm sleeve too. Oh, bro. Streets will never forget that team. And then and this is why Streets will never forget. Because everyone was like, they could be scary if they build upon this. They traded everybody for Kyrie and KD. That team, we got that team for 2 years, and they were immediately dismantled.
2 years, and they never played together. They played like 10 games or some crazy stat like that.
Bro, I will never forgive the Nets for that, ever. But yeah. that's my Streets will never forget. I did a team. So I was gonna say D'Lo, but like you can't mention D'Lo. You have to include the whole team.
Well, I mean, you could mention D'Lo in our hot seat because I know he's probably another player that I always root for because he always just gets constantly hated on. And he's a good player. Like, even when he played at Ohio State, he was a really good player. He always has been a really good player. But, yeah, I think D'Lo could fit in, either category,
Yeah. D'Lo kind of gets a little too much hate. Even on the Lakers, people would clown him because of that story that he snitched on Nick Young about cheating on his girlfriend, and everyone clowning him after that.
That was so, like, as a fan, that was funny. Okay, so my next forgotten star and one season wonder, if we're really being honest. 11th overall pick, 2013. Drafted by the Sixers. Point guard out of Syracuse. Michael Carter Williams.
That's a good one. That's another good one.
When's the last time you heard his name, bro? He had one of, if not the greatest rookie debut of all time. He dropped, mind you, 2013, his first ever NBA game. He played against the Heat. The 2013 Miami Heat. That was the newly created super team with LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. His stat line, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, and 9 steals. And the dub. He handed LeBron his first loss as a rookie. Ended up winning Rookie of the Year. He averaged, I think for that season, 17, 5 and 6, 6 and 6, something like that. And then after his rookie season, as the Sixers typically or used to happen, either get plagued with injuries or they just, for whatever reason, there's a downfall of their career. He literally has been and probably never will be the same after his rookie year, unfortunately. I don't even know where he plays currently, if he does. But, yeah, I got Michael Carter Williams.
It's such a strange career because I don't remember him having such a major injury, like tearing his ACL or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. And then he was getting assists really well, more than expected. So, where did his playmaking go? He was lengthy. He looked like he could defend, but he just really didn't. I don't know what could have been the issue, why he didn't, grow as a player after that.
I mean, after you just going down the list, it was either probably ego or he was just uncoachable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like it had to be something intangible that, just teams didn't want to mess with or spend time with, but I don't know. Because it's like he has all the tools, but where do they go?
Right. Yeah.
That's a really good one. I think he's also one of those guys that, like, for the longest time, everyone was like, he's gonna get better, and he just never did.
And never did.
Which is like the thing that like sucks is that like he really showed flashes in the pan of like greatness, just never panned out.
Okay. I got another 90s guy from the 76ers this time, 1994, 1995. Dana Barros played every game that season and averaged 20.5 points per game and then 7.5 assists per game on nearly 50% field goal percentage. So it's basically almost a coin flip whether he's making that shot or not.
That's actually, that's wild.
So another guy whose stats really didn't reach that peak quite like Michael Adams. But this one, I guess, kind of makes more sense because he was on the Sixers and then leaves, and whatever the team followed just probably misused him or just wasn't the right place at the right time for him because it just wasn't looking the same. And it's hard to deduce because I wasn't there to watch him play. I'm just looking at the stat sheet right now. And I'm looking, it's just another one of those head scratchers. Like, how could you be such a efficient scorer with playmaking and never attain that again? It really has to be team opportunity at that point.
Bro, he was an all-star and most improved.
He had to be most improved for that season, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. He was in the NBA for a long time too. He played from 1989 to 2004.
Wow. This man saw the rise of Kobe. He saw him enter the league and the rise.
Bro, man saw Seattle move.
This man saw, you said 89?
89, he was drafted in 1989.
He saw Seattle move, the rise of Kobe, the entire reign of the Chicago Bulls. Like, that's crazy. All while he was in the NBA.
LeBron,
LeBron entered the league.
Yeah, he
so
played
wild.
from 22 to 36. That's 14 years in the league, bro.
Bro, this is a player we need on like a guest star for a podcast. See what his story's about. He's seen a lot.
No,
Yeah.
for real.
That's a crazy time span that he was in.
No, yeah, like he saw like everything basically. You know what's even crazier is that like 14 years in the league is hard to do, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Especially back then. Like, you don't have the same like health equipment that goes into all the sports and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
rules too. Like, rules are different.
Yes, bro. Like, so much more physical. I don't know how he carved his career out like that.
That's crazy. All right. I have a lot left over still. I don't know if we want to stop after this. I think we probably should, but maybe we'll do one more. Who knows? It's up to y'all. I have one that's pretty basic, but like I feel like people now are young enough to not remember this. I got King's DeMarcus Cousins. King's DeMarcus Cousins was a menace to the league. This man he was basically the NBA what's his name? The Seattle running back.
Oh, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he was basically the NBA Marshawn Lynch, bro. This man would say the craziest things, full on shitting on the GM during after game interviews. But the stat line would be some historic stat line that hasn't been done in years. He was so good that when he got traded to the Pelicans, people thought the Pelicans were up next.
Okay, but like they were supposed to be.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
And it wasn't, bro. Oh my, like it's probably a whole topic for, another episode or whatever. But like, bro, I'm so pissed off at that Pelicans team, bro, because nothing was wrong with them. It was Anthony Davis getting hurt, bro. For I think it was like half or like majority of the season. They were supposed to be so good. They were supposed to be so good. Bro. That's like one of my biggest what ifs. But again, that's
we might have to do a
episode.
What If episode.
That's but yeah,
Bro, he was
Boogie, he was getting like 50-point doubles, almost triple doubles. Like he was doing literally everything. What's understood doesn't need to be said.
Bro, from 2016 up until like 2018, he never averaged below, well, except for 1 year. He never averaged below like 23 points.
Mm-hmm. He had like a Isaiah Thomas-esque career, just in his own way.
Like, yeah, after he left the Pelicans, teams just kept giving up on him.
Yep. And I was kind of hoping that he would find his way with the Pelicans, even with AD being hurt, but it just never happened.
Because, like, after Dwight left the Magic, it had to have been not Dwight. It had to have been DeMarcus Cousins, who was probably consensus best center in the league. Like, no one could stop him.
Right.
The unfortunate thing is we never got to see DeMarcus Cousins in the playoffs in a Kings uniform. Like, to miss every single one after being that good, like, it just shows how poverty the Kings franchise has been historically.
No. And, like, that's another thing, is that he was able, because I said, how I said he was shitting on the GM? Here's the crazy part. He still played for that team for, like, another 2 years after that. Like, he was so dominant that, like, he was literally able to do whatever he wanted in those interviews.
Because the Kings knew they couldn't get rid of him. You know what I mean? Like, they were only going to get worse. As bad as they were already.
He was just like a bully, bro. Like, we'll never see a center who plays like him again. And that's so sad. But because centers nowadays, they can do everything. But centers now, like centers like DeMarcus Cousins, you can't do that and be dominant anymore because like you can get exposed. But not him, bro. He was playing in the time frame where like centers were starting to become like less favorable, but he was still a wanted and beloved player, bro.
Right. And at this time, it was like I'm not going to say the rise of, but we were seeing a young Joel Embiid, a young Cat, players who are now arguable for best at their position right now. So
yeah.
And all that like the shit talk that Cousins was doing, it was kind of justified against the GM.
Oh, for sure.
That man fired Coach Mike Malone, I think, at the time, which was so head-scratching considering, like, I think they were plagued with injuries. And the replacement coach was remarkably worse. And there was just no hope after that.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I'm looking at his stats. I just got to remind people how good he was. I'm sorry. This man had 12 rebounds a game, almost 13, 5 assists, 1 steal, almost 2 blocks and 2 steals as a center, bro.
That's D-boy right there, bro.
And he, at one point in his career, he averaged 27 points a game. He had 3 years, 4 years under 10 points a game, and his career average is still 19.6.
Yeah, that's wild.
Bro, this man was an animal. And like we said, almost IT-esque, where teams started giving up on him so quickly. Like Golden State could have used him for a lot longer. Denver had him for 1 year, kicked him to the curb. He's dominating Taiwan right now. Won a chip, won an MVP. This man should be in the league, or should have been in the league a lot longer.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but when he was a journeyman, he was like, "I must be the only center off the bench in double triple teamed," because it was true. Like, who else is getting double coverage like that just to stop him from an attempt at scoring? Like, all the players could see it. It's just no management wanted to take a chance on him, I guess. It also kind of makes another what if he didn't sign with Golden State, because I know the Pelicans offered him a pretty hefty extension when he was injured, when he tore his Achilles, I want to say, but he wanted a ring chase, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. He signed that 2018-19 season. He was definitely ring chasing. Which is hard to admit, but like it was so evident that he was ring chasing at the time. Everyone was like, "Oh, this guy just wants a ring," and of course, that was the year the Raptors upsetted Golden State, and Warriors kicked him to the curb, and it hasn't been the same since. Can you imagine Zion and Boogie on the same team, bro?
and CJ McCollum and BI, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, rough. Another what if. We really had to do like a multiverse podcast episode because I'm like, there's so many what ifs. Because
we got to do that when the next Avengers movie comes out, bro.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I also imagine the food bill with Zion and Boogie on the team, bro.
Just a couple of big backs, bro.
He's also such a good personality. Like, he should really get more into like media, because he's on podcasts. He's hilarious. So, do you want to do one more, or do you want to call it here?
Yeah, I got one more.
I got a few more. I'm not gonna lie, but
okay,
we can do honorable mentions. I'm not tripping.
We'll do one more, then a really quick honorable mention when you just say the name and move on, or explain yourself, and then we'll just move on. So one more, and then we'll do honorable mentions.
Okay, so my one more would be Richard Hamilton. Kind of pulled that one out of the vault too. 3-time All-Star.
Bro, all of Eugene's picks are cheese 2K guys. These are all guys who were super cheese in 2K.
Bro, like, you got to think about it, bro. 3-time All-Star, won a chip with the Pistons, and he was. I don't want to say he was Draymond-esque, because that was more Ben Wallace, but he was the high energy hustle guy for that team, and he could score. If he couldn't, like, if he wasn't scoring, that team, wasn't probably winning, because he was not scoring. Although they did have, Chauncey running the offense, Ben Wallace, kind of the grittier Draymond guy or whatever. Tayshaun Prince, the shooter, like they had all the pieces that they needed. But I feel like Richard Hamilton was really their primary guy for that whole team to get them that extra level to win or whatever. But I'm going Richard Hamilton.
That's a good one, bro. That's a really good one.
Told you, bro.
Yeah.
Godly.
Like, the mask is iconic. Just him, part of very important Detroit history. It's just, you can't deny it, bro. He was too cold. Like, you need a bucket, you give it to Rip. Like, he's gonna give it to you.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't have any more vault picks, but I do have a little bit of a favorite here. This was after the year LA didn't have a team make the playoffs. So neither Clippers or Lakers made it. And then next year you got Montrezl Harrell. I think I want to say 2019, 2018, something like that. Off the bench, giving you 16 and 6. They make playoffs. They have the Kevin Durant Warriors they're going against. Everyone said sweep. Nope. They at least managed to take 2 games.
I was like, that was 4-2,
2 games.
wasn't it?
Yeah. So then you got this post period where, like, are they going to rebuild? Are they going to start trading pieces away? Montrezl Harrell comes back next year. 18 and 7 off the bench and gets a 6th Man of the Year award. They're like, oh, this career is going up and up. I'm pretty sure this man signed, like, not a minimum, but a discounted deal to go to the Lakers. And after that, he was just never the same. Like, to bring nearly 20 and 10 off the bench for the Clippers, and you discount yourself for a chance at the championship with the Lakers, it kind of cursed him, it feels like. Because after that, he really wasn't getting minutes like he used to. And I think in his time on the Sixers, where he was most recently, I think he tore his ACL. So it's kind of looking grim for him ever returning to that point. So I just had to mention Montrezl Harrell from 2018 to 2020, I think it is.
Bro, Montrezl Harrell, I remember when he went to the Lakers, bro, everyone was saying like the Clippers were about to be irrelevant like all over again. Because he really was looking like the next big center. He also had a lot of off the court trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
He was like the opposite of DeMarcus Cousins, who was like a menace just in the league. Harrell was like a menace out of the league.
To society.
He was like a menace to everyone around him. But he really was that guy. And he was also kind of like, I don't know, not as shifty for a center, bro. This man kind of had some speed on him. And it was kind of like scary.
Because he's undersized, you know,
Yeah.
but he's still putting that work.
Yeah, because he's sorry.
He was kind of like a quicker Kenneth Faried. Like,
yes, bro.
he could find his way to the basket if he really wanted to. And during that time, it was basically a guarantee 6th Man of the Year to the Clippers, because the only guy he was competing with was Lou Williams. So it was basically him or Lou the whole time for 6th Man of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Bro, and also like he was undersized, but his frame was like he was like built too.
Yeah.
So like he was undersized, but he could still like just bully the paint and do whatever he wanted around the rim.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good one, bro. I can't be outshined here. No, this is a fun episode, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Mine is I'm not gonna lie, mine is kind of biased because I don't think a lot of people will say the same thing. But Terrence Ross in general, bro. Terrence Ross.
You talking about me with cheese players, bro? He was the cheesiest player, bro. You could not miss with him in 2K.
Terrence Ross on Toronto was like a guy who was so underrated, went to Orlando, and just like that 18-19 season, like it took a couple years for him to like get his footing in Orlando. 15 points a game, was almost 6th Man of the Year, bro. He was looking like a whole new player. And he was also like, bro, the dunks he would get was insane, bro. This man was jumping out the gym, bro. Like, and what's crazy, it wasn't even like, it was almost Russell-esque, where it wasn't like he's doing windmills. It looks like he's just like putting his entire strength into just slamming the ball into the rim. He would just jump, bro, for real. He would just jump up like high as hell and just power his way to the rim. And like, bro, I wish more people recognize his game because like he wasn't spectacular per se, but he really was a guy that like if he was on your team, you would love him. And like literally that's what it was. Toronto fans loved him, Orlando Magic fans loved him, people who actually knew ball loved him, but everyone else was sleeping hard. And like Eugene said, he was cheese in 2K, bro. Even in my team, he had like a 99 overall my team card, bro. He was super cheese.
So cheese. But I mean, yeah, like he's another high energy guy. Consistent too. Like he was a consistent shooter. So yeah, I like that pick as well. Terrence Ross, Forgotten Star.
Yeah. Like respect the guy has a 50 piece to his name. Like I don't know if that was the franchise high in Toronto at the time, but any guy who's getting 50 is like there's some level to his game.
No, for real.
He's one of those guys that stayed in Orlando way too long. Like
yeah,
he could have been so much more useful somewhere else.
You could have said same with Toronto. He was in Toronto for way too long too.
Yeah, true.
Because he had an opportunity to probably get out of there, but he stayed there for a long time. No, but yeah, definitely Orlando. He stayed in Orlando for way too long. Way too long. All right, honorable mentions. I have a shit ton, low key.
Yeah.
You go first then. You go first.
All right, two guys I wasn't going to say because I want my Nuggets bias to show, but Bubble Bull was Wemby before Wemby. Bubble Bull, Gary Harris, his not last year, but like when his middle year 2017-18, Gary Harris was him on the Nuggets, bro.
Yeah, nah, he was Jamal Murray, bro. Before
exactly.
Jamal Murray.
Gary Harris was my favorite player before Jamal Murray, bro. I liked Gary Harris before I liked the Nuggets. Like right after the bubble, Bradley Beal, 2020, 2021. Hornets Lynn. I know he wasn't necessarily elite, but when Hornets Lynn got them to the playoff, and that season got him a fat bag with Brooklyn.
Okay, wait, pause. Did none of us say Jeremy Lin because that was just the most obvious answer?
Yeah, it was too obvious.
Yeah, it's too obvious, bro.
Right.
That's why I had him on here as Hornets Lin because I'm like, I'm gonna say Jeremy Lin, but for the Hornets.
Right.
But I was like, even that's like a gimme.
I would have sent Jeremy Lin on the Nets because he was looking like he was going to All-Star territory before the injury.
Bro, that injury was devastating too, bro. Because the camera panned to him and he was like sobbing because like he knew that was his last chance.
Right. He did just win a chip somewhere though, wherever he plays.
And he has one with Toronto.
Yeah.
Pacers Oladipo. That's my last one. Another one that's like too obvious. Want to say Gordon Hayward for this episode, but another obvious one.
All right. So mine. So you said who'd you say? Bubble Bull?
Bubble Bull.
When you said that, it sparked another one that I didn't even think of. Bubble Kelly Oubre.
Bro, true.
Bro, he was hooping, bro.
Bro, are we just naming Bubble Warren?
We can say that. Nah, I'm not gonna say him. I was gonna say Bubble Butler, but nah, because I don't think he was forgotten. You know, I think people gave him props for actually trying to, win against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Another kind of vault pick I got, Darren Williams. Y'all remember him, bro? At one point in time, it was who is the best point guard in the league, Darren Williams or Chris Paul? And look who's still in the league, bro. I'm not okay. Wait. I'm not tarnishing Darren Williams' game. It's just Chris Paul has obviously lasted longer, but Darren Williams, was one of them. He was him.
But more credit to Darren Williams because he was out of the league and he made his way back with the Mavs. I don't know what's more impressive, bro. Chris Paul did win that battle or the war, but Darren Williams, he got some wins along the way, bro.
Right.
And the fact that
Darren Williams was him.
Yeah.
Joe Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
ISO
Joe Johnson. I'm gonna say Carlos Boozer too, because Carlos Boozer at one point in time was actually a great player.
Yeah.
And then my last one, kind of pretty much along the same lines of the what if, but Brandon Roy.
Oh, that's another good one.
All good solid picks. I think a lot of these tend to have like scorer attributes. Aside from Darren Williams, he scored and was a playmaker and all that. But a guy who was just pure blood scorer, Kevin Martin. Didn't matter where he was. 20 points a game, 3 different teams. That is what he was doing. He was just he sees the bucket and it's like nothing stopping him.
That's crazy. That was Wolves, right? Correct? If I'm correct.
Yeah, Wolves, and I think he did it on Sacramento, maybe even Houston.
I remember him on the. Oh yeah, I remember him on the Wolves and Houston.
And then my last honorable mention, Corey Maggette. It has no accolades, but he hooped. He was a scorer, bro. I can't lie to you.
He's crazy.
He had a mean shot. But like never an all-star. I don't even know if he was all-rookie team. And his teams were always bad, but he was hooping.
Corey Maggette, bro. I haven't heard that name in so long.
Corey Maggette is actually insane,
that might have
bro.
been the best pull of this episode, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
for sure. For sure it is. Okay, I didn't mention this guy because I thought one of us would. Trevor Ariza, bro. Trevor Ariza on Houston, certified 3-pointer.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that was a bucket as well. Give it to him in the corner. He draining it
Every single time.
literally.
Cheese player. Cheese 2K player. For some reason, in 2K, like even base, like Trevor Ariza, not even like my team, he could shoot green beans constantly. Like it was so easy to get a green with Trevor Ariza. And then if you just sprinted in the paint, you're getting a dunk automatically. You're not getting blocked. And like I was like, who do they think Trevor Ariza is, bro? I was like, what are they doing? All right. Really solid episode. This is what we're gonna call it. If you're looking for the audio format, we're on all podcast platforms at Spin the Rock. Give us that good old 5 stars. Leave us a review. Who is your one season wonder, Streets will never forget player? We're also on YouTube for that good old video format. So make sure you like and subscribe there. We're also on all social media platforms at Spin the Rock for clips and episode updates. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Oh, Corey Maggette was crazy.
Bro. Like he should have been one of yours, bro. Oh my, that was crazy. That was